What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Jon Jones receives new charge for hit and run. After being charged with leaving the scene of an accident that took place in February, Jon Jones has now been hit with what MMA Fighting is describing as a duplicate charge for leaving the scene of the accident. Included in the new charges filed this week is another charge defined by the outlet as, quote, use of telephone to terrify, intimidate, threaten, harass, annoy, or offend. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to help support the channel. Jones's attorney quickly put forth a motion to dismiss, with MMA Fighting quoting him as saying, put simply, Mr. Jones is already facing prosecution in a separate case for the same factual allegations set forth in a criminal complaint in this matter, and it was wholly improper for this separate case to be filed. The court should dismiss this case as it violates the mandatory joinder rule. The incidents at issue in both cases are one and the same. Mr. Jones now is forced to defend himself against two separate cases that involves the exact same factual allegations. It is unknown why an Albuquerque Police Department detective and an Albuquerque Police Department officer, who were both involved in the investigation of this case, would not communicate and coordinate who would file charges. But that seems to be what happened, unless the truth is that these law enforcement officers intentionally violated the same mandatory joinder rule for some improper strategic purpose. Either way, the result is the same. This case should be dismissed, as Mr. Jones has been impermissibly charged twice for the same underlying incident. Amid his latest legal situation, Jones has been teasing a return. During a recent video for his YouTube channel, Daniel Cormier weighed in.
Okay, so my initial thought was, why? Right? So I figured he was trolling, kind of giving him a hard time because he knew how much they wanted him to fight Tom Aspinall. My biggest issue is, why are you playing with people's emotions? It seemed like that's something he's been doing quite a bit lately. If he decides he wants to fight, sure. I don't think he has to have an option but to fight that guy, though. He said it's good to be the hunter now and not the hunted. Don't keep rolling around playing with our emotions and the fans' emotions because you know they want to see you fight. So you either fight or you hit the door.
For his part, Jon Jones has continued to tease a return via social media. On Thursday, he replied to a fan, writing, Donald made his announcement on the morning of 4th of July. I called the UFC headquarters that very same afternoon. I'll just leave it at that. America. Now that tickles my pickle. He then followed it up, adding, it would be, for me, it's about the opportunity to represent America at the White House. I don't care who I fight that night. I found my reason why. That's what I needed. Something that was more than money. In response to one fan who accused him of ducking Tom Aspinall, Jones replied, choosing when to attack and where you want the battlefield to be is not ducking, my friend. According to Dana White, who weighed in on a potential card at the White House in a video with the Nelk Boys, a Jones-Aspinall fight is his dream main event for a pay-per-view at the White House.
I saw Jones. We don't know if he was serious. Is he not retired anymore? Is he back in the...
You jump back in the pool, so...
How sick is that for you that now you kind of got this White House event for them and it's like... I feel like this is what brings...
No matter who popped up or who didn't or whatever, we would have put on an incredible card.
What would be the dream main event?
The dream main event right now would be Aspinall versus Jones.
Is it possible that McGregor and Jones would fight on the same card?
Could be.
As White went on to reveal, we could very well see both Jones and Conor McGregor fight on the card. McGregor then spoke about the situation at a BKFC press conference on Thursday.
I do like the dough. I'm in this zone until I can clear my slate. It's looking like I'm headed to the Oval Office again. So that's where I'm heading next. But I let these men fight for this one, and I'll support them and back them all the way.
Could this be what finally gets McGregor motivated for a return? Conor McGregor and Mike Perry go back and forth. During Thursday's BKFC press conference, Conor McGregor and Mike Perry went back and forth after McGregor claimed to have released Perry following his loss to Jake Paul.
McGregor, at this point, I would love to get this cleared up here in front of everybody at the state of the BKFC.
Well, I think it makes a lot of sense. We haven't seen Conor in the ring in a while, but I know he loves bare knuckle, and I'd love to face off against him anytime. Anytime we're looking for the action.
Yeah, you're welcome back, because I welcomed you back. October 11th is your and you'll dance for me, boy. You'll dance for the owner, and then we can talk. But your is October 11th, Michael Perry, the return of Platinum. And we've got some hell of an announcement for an opponent for you. One of the baddest men to ever grace the Ultimate Fighting Championship, but it comes to bare knuckle, and he's gonna throw down with you in front of me for my viewing pleasure, and then I'll decide if you're worthy.
While the back and forth between McGregor and Perry was quick to go viral, the former champ also notably announced a $25 million BKFC open weight tournament, with the winner getting $15 million. As part of the press conference, McGregor announced that the promotion has signed the one and only Yoel Romero.
And now to announce our next signing, Cuban Olympian, former UFC World Title challenger, Yoel, Soldier of God, Romero!
According to BKFC founder Dave Feldman, 64 fighters will be involved in the open weight tournament. Derrick Lewis talks about his future in the UFC. Last summer, Derrick Lewis got back in the win column with a big TKO win against Rodrigo Nascimento. The win not only returned the Black Beast to the win column, but also pushed his record over his last 3 fights to 2-1, following a rough stretch that saw him lose 3 straight and 4 out of his previous 5. After indicating to Ariel Helwani last month that he wants to win several fights before even discussing a shot at the title, Lewis spoke about his future in the UFC during an interview with Pavel Virabek, who was kind enough to let us use his footage in today's video.
I really don't pay attention to that because the time went by so fast. I can't believe this is going to be my 30th fight in the UFC. You know, I still remember like it was yesterday, my first fight. And it's just still so fresh on my mind how unbelievable that experience was. And to say that this is my 30th fight, and it's like mind-boggling. I would love to finish off my contract. You know, I believe I have like 5 fights left after this one. I would like to finish out my contract and see how things goes from there. I would like to face the guy named Walt. He's been calling me out, and I would like to fight him next.
Heading into the fight, Lewis is currently ranked 9th at heavyweight. With a win over Teixeira, he could wind up being just one more win away from re-entering the top 5. UFC updates. With this weekend's Lewis Teixeira card right around the corner, let's take a look at some UFC updates that may have flown under your radar. According to reports, Fares Ziam and Caio Fernandez will collide on the UFC Paris card on September 6th. The fight will see Ziam look to build on an impressive 5-fight win streak that most recently saw him defeat Mike Davis in February, while on the flip side, Fernandez will be looking to extend a 2-fight win streak that most recently saw him defeat Guram Kutateladze in March. Additionally, this week, Merab Dvalishvili met with Hunter Campbell regarding his next fight, sharing photos of the two together on Instagram along with the caption, "Great dinner with the boss. Told him I'm hungry to fight as soon as possible. Stay tuned." And last but not least, tickets are now available for the UFC Fight Night Shanghai card on August 23rd, as well as the Road to the UFC card that will take place the night before. The event will see Johnny Walker collide with Mingyang Zhang in the main event, while Aljamain Sterling and Brian Ortega will throw down in the co-main. Stephen Thompson reacts to Islam Makhachev's move to welterweight. After setting the record for the most consecutive lightweight title defenses in UFC history with his win over Renato Moicano, Islam Makhachev is now moving up to welterweight in pursuit of UFC gold in another division. While many believe that Makhachev's reign as pound-for-pound king, which came to an end with Ilia Topuria's win over Charles Oliveira, makes him worthy of an immediate title fight at 170, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson says he would be pissed if he was a top 5 welterweight. During an interview with MMA Fighting, he explained, "I was in the top 5. I would be very upset that this guy who just got the title is already looking at somebody from a different division. If it was me if I'm in the top 5, more deserving than this guy coming up, like I've been waiting here." Despite that, Wonderboy thinks that the Makhachev-JDM bout is going to be a good one. Now, I think it is a good fight. I think it's a very tough fight for Islam Makhachev coming up. Della Maddalena is a bigger guy, a guy with great takedown defense, and a guy who just won the title from somebody very similar to himself in Belal Muhammad. Cardio for days, strong grappling background. I do believe that Islam has a better striking than Belal does, so I think that would be interesting, but I think it's a very tough fight for Islam for sure. While there's been no word yet on when Makhachev will fight for the title, based on Ali Abdelaziz's recent comments, it sounds like the two may wind up throwing down at Madison Square Garden in November. Ali Abdelaziz reveals the truth on Zabit Magomedsharipov leaving MMA. Zabit Magomedsharipov's decision to walk away from MMA quickly led to the dynamic striker being labeled as one of the greatest what-ifs in UFC history. After joining the UFC in 2017, following an impressive run in ACB that saw him win the promotion's featherweight title, Magomedsharipov rattled off 6 straight victories in the octagon in just over 2 years. Despite that, in June of 2022, more than 3 years following his win over Calvin Kattar, Zabit retired from MMA, citing, quote, disruptions of fights and then health problems as the main reason for his retirement, indicating that he no longer felt the way he once did. During an appearance on Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo's Pound for Pound show this week, Ali Abdelaziz shut down rumors of Magomedsharipov returning, while revealing why the streaking contender decided to walk away from the fight game.
He got booked like 3-4 times with Zaire Rodriguez. Zaire Rodriguez kept pouring out on him. And he was like, he just lost love. So when you lose love, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to blame anyone from the UFC. And I could have, but I'm not going to do it. And I think it was a little bit UFC's fault, and also maybe a little bit of my fault. But in a way, because I should never make them book him again with Zaire Rodriguez. I was like, this guy's, he pulled up 3-4 times, right? And in a way, I think Zabit fell off, and he have a lot of businesses and married and kids, and he said, I don't need to do this.
Although he may never compete again, it's clear that fans will continue to hold out hope. Concerns rise for Khamzat Chimaev retiring after UFC 319. In August, Khamzat Chimaev will have a chance to capture UFC gold when he collides with Dricus du Plessis in Chicago, Illinois. According to Caio Borralho, however, if Chimaev emerges from the fight victorious, he may retire. During the latest episode of Real MMA Today, he dished on the subject.
I heard somewhere some people saying that if he wins the belt, he's gonna retire. And
I don't think so.
I think
you
so.
heard that is it something that people are talking about?
Some little talks.
Oh wow.
Some whispers,
okay.
Some whispers about that. Like if he wins the belt, he retires. Like I'm not sure of that. I don't know if I believe that or not, but it's an option. There's too much pressure on him. Too much pressure.
He has a lot of health problems too, right?
Yeah, health problems and a lot of pressure from his country, and I don't know. Maybe he retires, maybe not.
Wow.
I don't. He has a lot of money already, like a lot of money. He's good with money, So there will be no something that's gonna make him like, I want to fight. He'll be already the champion. So why not retire? I would do the same.
Yeah.
I would do the same if I was him.
While the news was quick to spread throughout the MMA community, plenty of fans aren't buying it, given that Borralho has a spotty track record when it comes to sharing inside information. For example, prior to the DDP Chimaev fight getting booked, Borralho said that du Plessis injured his leg and would be sidelined for an extended period of time. Dude's always lying. Another fan wrote, isn't this the dude that spread rumor Brent Askren that Dricus or Khamzat had a broken foot? Now this? One fan joked that Borralho's source is Ruben Carter, who is notorious for sharing fake news. Caio Borralho's sources at this point. Another joked, you hear a lot of wrong things, Caio. Man just lying for no reason. Plenty of others aren't buying what Borralho is selling. Not believing anything that comes from this guy's mouth. Should stick just to fight because he embarrasses himself whenever he speaks. Given Chimaev's history of health problems, however, some think Borralho may be telling the truth. This is quite possible. Chechens, Dagestanis often have weird health issues and often decide to retire early for mysterious reasons. Khamzat lives in the Gulf. He can easily make tons of sheik money easier than fighting. With UFC 319 rapidly approaching, only time will tell.